Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Global BA Stand-Up for the month of September 2024. Can you guys believe we're already in September? I feel like yesterday was January. Waiting for a few of you more to join. Let's see who we've got here. Inyola, we've got Nyanyak. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, let me know. Inyola, Uche, Emika. Hey, Emika, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? We've got the seasoned analyst and a couple other people. Let me just keep admitting them. Thank you all for joining. I'm very happy that you guys are here. We're going to have quite a good little chat today. So looking forward to that. Uche. I haven't seen you, Uche, in a long time too. Welcome. So many familiar faces already. All right, y'all can put in the chat where y'all are from. Let's see where everybody's from today. Y'all couldn't hear me all this time? I was telling everybody how much I'm happy to see some familiar faces, like Uche, like Emika. So many people here that I've dealt with in the past, that I'm happy that you joined. Billy Quiz, nice. Welcome, everybody. Sorry, I was on mute. Welcome. We're about to get started. So I wanted to put in the chat where you guys are from. Let me see where everybody's from today. Can everybody hear me, by the way? Can you hear me now? Oh. Yes or no?
Yeah, we can continue.
You can hear now. Okay, good. Wouldn't want to keep talking. Nobody can hear what I'm saying. We've got Kenya, we've got Zimbabwe, we've got Dallas, we've got Canada. And today's a holiday in the US and Canada. So happy Labor Day to everybody. We've got New York, we've got Houston, New Jersey, Florida. Anybody who's not on mute, please put yourself on mute. We don't want to hear echo. All right. Make sure you're on mute. I think Joshua, I'm going to make sure you're on mute. Dublin, we've got Jamaica. Woohoo! I'm from Jamaica, so I very much appreciate when I see folks from Jamaica joining. Vancouver. Wow, we have a lot of people from all over the place. This is truly the global BA stand-up. So I'm very happy to see everybody representing. That's awesome. So I'm going to be on the live over here on my phone. So I'll be checking on you guys over here momentarily. But we also have a Google Meet meeting going on. And if you want to join to participate, if you're on the live and you want to join, just go to karaleise.com, go to the Global BA Stand-Up, sign up, and it'll send you the link. And then you can join and participate. All right? So very happy to have you guys here. For those of you who are on the Google Meet, it's not being shared, right? So your name and your faces are not being shared, but they can hear what you're saying. So it's just audio for the people on the live. So you can be very comfortable to say what you want because, you know, your information is not being shared on the live, just your voice. All right? So for those who are new, welcome. We have this every single month where we meet as a BA community, and for the people who have followed me, who have interacted with me, who have done my consults, who have downloaded something from my website, or even found value in my YouTube channel, I like to provide this space once a month to give you a place to ask questions, to clarify. It's really like a stand-up if you're in Agile, where we do a daily stand-up in the real world. But we do ours as a monthly stand-up, and ours is 1 hour long. And this is a free, safe space. You can ask questions about your career. You can get help, you know. You can pick my brain. I'm here for 1 hour to be available for you for today. And we do this every single Monday, the first Monday of every month. We meet together and we just try to see how we can help each other excel in the BA space. So in this room, I'm sure we have seasoned BAs. I see somebody already named themselves the seasoned analyst, so that's good. We have seasoned BAs, we have newcomers, we have people who are just curious, and we have people who are in the job hunt, just trying to find a job and struggling through that. So we're here to help you. And I can provide lots of information, but anybody else who's here who has information that they can help, anybody who knows of a job offering, you want to put it in the chat, some opening that could help someone, let's do that, right? Let's form a community that we can help each other. So this will go on from now until 11 a.m. The good thing is that today I don't have work because it's a holiday, so I can probably stay a little bit longer, but I know not everybody all over the world has the day. So let's try to get started and get the most done. We also have a idea board for those of you who are more shy, and there's a link to the idea board that was sent in the email. Joshua is my assistant, everybody who don't know yet. Please put the link to the idea board in the chat, both for the live and for the Google Meet, so that if anybody want to add it there, you don't want to talk, you just want to put your ideas under the idea board, you can do that and I'll read it out at the end. Typically, we go through what's going well in your career, and what is not going so well, and what's blocking you, or what action items can you take. And this can be, you know, both from working in the field, or if you're trying to start in the field, or anything that's happening, even a promotion, even something that you've done that you want to just call out. We want to celebrate wins as well. All right, so we'll get started. So I always like to start off with the people who are looking for a job. And this is, by the way, this is a conversation, right? So it's not just me here talking. So nobody feel shy. If you have something that you want to ask, please go ahead and ask it. This is an open, safe space. So for the people who are looking for a job, I know it's difficult, right? And every time I come here, I say the same thing, but it's true. There is so much competition in the market. There's so many people who are looking for jobs. There's so many companies who are putting out good job offers, but then they're not calling you back, and people are applying and not getting any what do you call it, responses. So I know it's frustrating, but I wanted to open the floor first to the people who are in the job hunt. Is there anybody here in the job hunt who have a question or have some concerns I can help them with? Anything that I can help you with for people who are looking for a job? Go ahead. I'll start with reading what somebody has on the live. So Naz M says, I have been out of work for over a year now. I have experience, but I'm not sure what to do anymore. However, I am brushing up on my skills, learning about AI via LinkedIn and Udemy. Well, that's good. If you're out of a job, one of the best things to do with your time is to brush up on your skills, and definitely to project towards what's coming next and to be ready for that. But you also need to apply, right? So obviously you're applying. If you're not getting any responses when you're applying, I always say that it might be your resume, the first thing to look at. The resumes, you know, a lot of people say, well, I'm setting up my resume and my resume is going out there, but what is the resume saying? Sometimes when I do my consults and I look at the resume, I realize why you're not getting the call. Some people, when you read their resume, whatever they have been doing is what's on the resume. It doesn't project them to the role that they're going up for. So for example, I recently spoke with a young man. This is a guy I met him in Walmart. He was a Walmart associate, and he was helping me with something I was purchasing. And he said, you know, I'm really trying to get out of this role. I'm trying to get into, it wasn't business analyst because he doesn't know that yet. He wanted to get into just being a bank teller. And he's like, I've been trying to send my resume. I'm not getting anywhere. And he's a young person. So I really felt for him. So I told him, hey, send me your resume. Let me look at it. And when he sent me the resume, I could see clearly why he wasn't getting any calls. The resume spoke to him as just being a student. He had his student email on his resume. He didn't have a LinkedIn profile on his resume. He talked about some of the lower level tasks that he did. None of it showed ownership or showed any kind of leadership in any way. It was it was well put together, it was very well formatted, but it didn't say anything that was helpful for him to become what he was trying to be, which was a bank teller. So I actually helped him to get that fixed. But that's one of the reasons why I say you have to really look at the resume and make sure that it projects you as a BA. I'm not saying that you should go out and lie on your resume. You know, I have many videos where I encourage you not to be a liar, right? And if you look at the comments of those videos, so many people disagree with me. Everybody thinks you should just lie. That's how you're going to get started. But I believe that you can use your real experience from what you've really done, and you can pull out of it the business analyst relevant tasks and highlight those and project a business analyst persona in the resume, and that will get you the call. So Naz M, please look at the resume first. Right? She says, or he, I'm not sure if it's a he or she. My problem is some of these companies looking for certain niche, like payment systems, HR systems, etc. And that's true. I remember when I was in the job market a couple of years ago and somebody called me for a job and they were telling me, hey, do you have any experience in payments? Because I'm in banking, they'll ask you, do you have any payments? Do you have any experience in payments? We want somebody who knows payments. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if you've been working in payments or not, or even the industry you're working in, because your business analysis skills is applicable throughout, right? So you don't have to, I'm going to turn my volume down because the people who are joining are making the pop-up sounds. It doesn't matter if you have payment skills. It doesn't matter if you have HR system skills. It doesn't matter if you've worked in energy. It doesn't matter if you've worked in telecommunications. It does not matter. All of your skills are transferable because it's the tools and the techniques and the approach to the problem that is the valuable thing that you're bringing. As long as you get the job, and they say, okay, this is the scope of the problem we're trying to solve, you're going to apply all of those skills to that arena, that focus area. So when recruiters call you and they start stressing you about, oh, do you have payments? Do you know payments? You need to tell them that what you have is the business analysis skills that can apply to any of those, whether it's payments or not. And if you need to learn how that company does payments, you will be able to do that. That is not a deterrent for you. Especially people who are immigrants, people who are coming here from different countries. You should never be afraid of a change. You should never be afraid of a new industry. You should never be afraid of taking on something you've never done before because you left your country that you were comfortable in. You came to this country, right? Where you had to learn a new system, had to learn new how to travel. You had to learn everything new, and you've done it. So what is the problem with you learning a new company with a little bit of products that you're new to? This is not a problem. So one of the things I want to say, some of these recruiters are just, they're very robotic. Some of them, not all of them. They're very robotic and they look at the job description and they want you to match every single line item of the job description. When you're dealing with a person like that, they're not a good recruiter, right? But unfortunately, they're standing in the way of you on the job. So you just have to tell them that, yes, you can meet these qualifications. Yes, you can do that because it's not a problem for you to learn these things. You're going to have to be onboarded. You're going to have to learn the company, the products anyway. So whether you have payments background or not, it's not a problem. And don't you internalize that and start feeling like you're inadequate. Oh, I don't have enough industry experience. You don't. You learn it. It's not a problem. You don't even need to know all that. So many times I switch careers into things that I've never done before, and I become the best at it. So I don't see why that would be a challenge, right? Okay, Abby, you have your hand up. Go ahead. Sorry, Abby, I had my volume down, so I may not have heard you. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. It was my fault. Go ahead.
So you mentioned something about the guy's resume that he didn't have a LinkedIn or profile on his resume, right? Now, because I don't know, it might be wrong, whatever, but while looking for jobs, with the way the job market is so difficult, and we're trying to tailor our resume in such a way that meets the expectation of whatever job description that like how you say some of them will ask, do you have this, do you have whatever, but we might not have directly done it, but we want to tailor it to our experience, right? And if we have it on, okay, so let me give an example. So I have a Scrum Master experience and I have a business analyst experience, right? And sometimes I'm looking for Scrum jobs. Sometimes I'm looking for, now I'm getting my PMP as well, right? So if I'm going to be tailoring my resume towards whatever I'm applying, is it safe to put my LinkedIn profile? Because of course, LinkedIn profile is stagnant, like it's whatever it's there, right? So how do we work around that? Is it always necessary to put a LinkedIn profile on a resume?
It's a good question. I'm happy you asked it. So there's tailoring, and then there's just exaggerating and creating a whole bunch of stuff that isn't true, right? So tailoring is you're taking the truth of what you worked in and you're picking out only the things that are relevant to the BA role and you put that on your resume. And then you have inventions where you've never done this thing before and you put on your resume that you're a senior BA and you've done all these fanciful things and none of it is true and you can't defend it. So I want you to be careful about what we say is tailoring, right? So if you've never worked as a BA and you have on your resume that you're a senior BA and you've done all of these fanciful things, that might be challenging. However, um, one of the things I've noticed from what you just said is that you are doing Scrum Master, you're doing PMP, and of course you've done BA. You really have to focus. Which one of these do you really want to zone in on? I want you to be educated and I want you to get all of the overall information about your career and to be able to make a good choice. But because you're trying to do three different things, which one do you focus your LinkedIn on, or which one do you focus your resume on? It's hard to target three different careers at the same time. It's difficult to choose. Like you don't know which one you like. You know, you like Scrum, you like being a Scrum Master, you like writing requirements, and you like managing projects. So you like all three of them. But the challenge is that now you're trying to meet three different things, and so you don't know what to put on your resume or on your LinkedIn. I would say on your LinkedIn, you can put the stuff that you know are relevant to maybe all three, like working in agile, managing projects, managing risks, writing requirements, writing user stories. All of these things kind of blend together, so it doesn't deter somebody who's trying to hire for any of these three roles, but it does make it a little bit more difficult when you have to try to match all three things in your LinkedIn at the same time. Now, the reason why I think you really need to have a LinkedIn when you're applying for a job is because when you send in your resume, the first thing the recruiters are going to want to see, let me look at your LinkedIn. Let me see what you've been doing. Let me see if anything you tell me is the truth, because there's a bunch of people telling a bunch of lies. Let me see if you can verify where you say you're working. Let me see if you have a picture, because sometimes people don't put their picture because the person who goes in the interview is not them. Right? There's so much scam going on, and the employers are onto a lot of it. So by you hiding your LinkedIn, you do yourself more damage, because now I don't know who you are, so I just throw away your resume because you don't exist. Who are you? I don't know you. I can't see a picture of you. I can't see what you've done. You just send me a resume. I don't know who this person is. Move on. Somebody else is out there who can tell me who they are, who can show me their LinkedIn, and I'll go with that person. Go ahead, Abby. You had a follow-up question.
Oh yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I really wanted to know, and it's not like I don't know what I want, right?
Okay.
But because of how difficult the job market is, I'm trying to just spread my, options, right? But on my LinkedIn page, I'm a BA, because that's what I have experience in. I'm a BA slash Scrum Master because, that's what I put there. I don't know if the slash is a
No,
shooting
no,
myself
it's
in the
fine.
leg,
It's
but
fine.
on one team, I was a Scrum Master because it was just a small team, like kind of like a Kanban team, right? And then on the main team, I was the BA, right? So that's how I put my LinkedIn page, right?
Yeah.
So, but then of course the project management is just coming on, right? So, and I've heard, people say that they've done this, they've done that. So that's why, yeah.
No, but I'm not, I want you to get the message clear, which is I'm not against you kind of knowing about all of the different streams that are encompassed in the software development life cycle and the different roles, right? So Scrum Masters were related to business analysts, we're related to product owner, we're related to project manager. So you're not going wrong by doing a PMP, doing a Scrum, so that you're ready for whichever one shows up. It's just that it's hard to be an expert in all three. It's hard to really excel in all of them. So one of them is going to win out at some point. It sounds like the BA is winning out, and I just want you to make sure that you double down on the thing that's already working, the thing that you're feeling very confident at. And if in the role you have to pivot and become a Scrum Master, fine. You have to pivot and become a PO, fine. You have to pivot and become a PM, fine. You have that skill, you have that certification. But I just want to make sure that you are focusing on the one that you really want to do, that will make you happy, and the one that you think will bring you the most success in your career. All right, so I have a couple more. So Leo says, I have two questions. What is your advice in getting contract roles? I find it easy to get permanent roles. I would like contract. Second question is, Ever worked for two different companies on a remote-based role before? What are your thoughts on this possibility? So let me answer the first one. Contract jobs are fine, especially if you're a new BA. I think contract might help you and it also could hurt you. So here's the thing about contract. On a contract, the good thing is that it's very specific. They want you to deliver this particular thing within this particular time. So they might say the contract is for you to deliver the requirements for this part of the system. So the only thing you have to deliver is the BRD, maybe some process flows, and that's it. You don't have to be a part of the entirety of the process. You don't have to go interview all the stakeholders in some cases, right? Because some of that information is presented to you already because they know that they're paying you for a very short time. Some of these contracts are 3 months, sometimes 6 months. You could even have a 1-year contract. And depending on how long it is the more deliverable they want from you, right? So the shorter the time, the more focused you'll be. The longer the time, the more they want you to do more. The good thing is because you're focused in a contract, you can basically kind of wing it, right? You can deliver the thing and hopefully have time to just laser in and focus on one particular deliverable as opposed to being stretched in all different places. You're not pulled into all of the company meetings that they have. You're not pulled into all of the conversations. So you're kind of isolated a little bit because you're not really an employee of theirs. You're just there to deliver this one thing and that's all you have to focus on. So that's the good thing. The bad thing about contracts is that they don't have time to bring you up to speed. They don't have time to onboard you. They don't have time to like treat you with gloves. They want you to come in and deliver right now because they expect that they're hiring someone who's ready, who knows the skills. So you're not going to be treated and trained like you'd expect for a long-term employee. And so you can't do a contract and fumble it because they'll get rid of you right away because you don't have a long-term arrangement with them and you're disposable, right? So the good thing about contract is that you have very limited deliverable and you're not distracted with all of the different company things that are going on. The bad thing is you're gonna have to deliver well the first time. They're not very patient with a contract employee because they need you to do the thing that you need, that they hired you to do. So that's the thing. So as long as you're comfortable with the level of the work and you know what it is that you expected, fine, go ahead and do your contract job. There's a lot of contracts out there, so go ahead. And you can find contracts both on LinkedIn, but also on Upwork, upwork.com. They have a lot of little contracts that you guys can search for and try to get into, even Fiverr. So there are places to get it. The second question about working remotely in two different companies, why would you want to do that? I know it's money, but like, now you have to be in meetings over here and meetings over there. This place might the meeting time on this one might be the same as the other one. You have to tell this one a couple of lies so you could be on the other one meeting. It feels like chaos to me. I mean, you're making the money, but what kind of life is that? You'll be stressed on both sides. You're burning both ends of the candle. So I don't know. If you can manage it, fine. But I think that's kind of crazy. I would recommend against trying to do that. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat over here in the Google Meet. So Tiffany, I don't know if you want to come off mute and tell me what you want to say, but Tiffany says the interviewers even ask what payment or accounting systems have you used before and tell me how you have used SAP or Salesforce, etc. They're detailed with the experience. Well, it depends on the job. If I'm hiring you for a Salesforce BA, somebody's not on mute. Go on mute, please. If I'm hiring you for a Salesforce BA, you better know how to do Salesforce admin. You better know how to work with Salesforce. And that's why I caution new BAs not to try to get jobs in specialized area as their first job. Don't try to become a Workday BA, a Salesforce BA, an Oracle BA, unless you have expertise in that particular tool. Because now the interview is going to become all about you knowing the tool as well as the BA skills. That's harder to try to defend two different things. So there's plenty of jobs that's just generic BA. I think that would be best if you're starting out. If you have expertise in these tools, then it's normal to expect them to ask you about that expertise before they move you along in the process. Tiffany also says, some companies want a business analyst, scrum master in one role to get more out of the candidate. Yes. People who are analysts and certified as scrum masters and project managers or product owners, it becomes a challenge with jobs wanting more out of their candidate. Well, you can't fault them to want to pay you one salary and get two different jobs out of you. It's enterprise. This is how companies work, right? They're here to make money. They're not here to, I mean, it depends on the company. I've worked with some really good companies and some of them are really bad. Like right now, I have a company in Canada that I go to. I go there every 3 months. I was there last time. I was in Montreal. It's a beautiful place. I love Montreal. I'm going back. And that company is a huge bank in Canada, and they refuse to have any meetings at lunchtime. You must go to lunch, right? You can't have any regular recurring meetings after 1 p.m. 1 p.m. onwards is for collaboration directly with whoever you want to collaborate, but no big company meetings after 1. So there's so many rules to make sure your quality of life is good. So they're not trying to hire one person and have that person do a whole bunch of stuff. As a matter of fact, the role is so specific that I'm like, this person, that's all they do. There are people where the only job is to make sure that you meet one particular regulation. That everybody meets all of the things that we produce, meet this one particular regulation. That's all they do all day. I'm like, this is an entire job. So some companies are like that, but I want to say that there are companies who value their employees' well-being and are not trying to punish you. Because the problem is when you spend most of your days working, right? You spend 5 days out of the 7 days working, putting your energy towards some obscure goal that the company has. If you're there and you're stressed and you have all of this problem and it's like pressure, pressure, pressure all the time, you're not going to be a happy person and you're eventually not going to do well and you're eventually going to leave. So good companies know that to keep good employees, they have to provide a better quality of life for them. And that does not include trying to get them to do everything in different roles. Hire a scrum master, hire a BA, and let that person focus on the job so they can get their particular role done well as opposed to trying to stretch them into multiple roles. So companies will try to do it, but I'm just saying not all companies are like that. If you can get out of that company and get to one where you can focus on your particular career, then that's great. It doesn't mean that sometimes you don't have to play the role. Because sometimes as a BA, I have to run the Scrum events. Sometimes I run the sprint planning. Sometimes I run the retrospective. I do whatever because I can. But it's not like I have to, and there's nobody else who can step in and I have to do all of it, right? So it all depends. All right, so I have Swati who had her hand up. Swati, I know we've spent a lot of time, we're almost half hour in, on the people who are looking for a job. So just go ahead and then I'll switch to more people who are already in a job. Go ahead, Swati.
Hi, Karaleise. Good morning, everyone. Are you able to hear me, Karaleise?
I can hear you. Go ahead. Welcome back. I know you were here last time too.
Yeah. I don't want to miss this.
That's right.
Karaleise, my question is, nowadays I'm getting calls from recruiters because I'm open to job market. Most of the time, the first question is something like, can you please explain your roles and responsibilities as a BA? So I wonder how to answer this question in a proper way. I mean, do I need to describe the project I'm working on currently and then move on with explaining my roles and responsibilities on the project? Because that gives a long answer to the recruiter. Or do I need to straight away jump into my roles and responsibilities and explain in a simple way, making it short? I need your suggestion on this.
Yeah, so when you're doing interviews, you really want to answer the question as pointedly as possible and give them a chance to ask you follow-up questions. If you go into a long spiel about everything you're doing in the project and everything you deliver, you end up kind of providing a lot more information for them to dig down into, and also you might lose them in the explanation. It might be just too much. So try to keep your answers very concise and to the point. So if they ask you, explain your roles and responsibilities as a BA, you'll say my main role as a BA is to deliver accurate, well-written requirements. So I do all of the different techniques and tasks, including stakeholder interviews, workshops, document analysis, observation, all of the techniques, depending on what the type of project is, to make sure I can elicit the right requirements. And then I document those and communicate those with stakeholders and get the sign off from the business, discuss it with the technical team, and make sure I can deliver high quality requirements.
So I understood, Carly. So I need to start from eliciting the requirements from the client and then move on to how I communicate that with my development teams.
Yeah, you're giving a high level of everything you do. So the main thing you do as a BA, the reason they hire you is because they want accurate requirements. They want somebody who can be the owner of the requirements. So your number one answer would be you deliver the requirements that's needed for the project. In order to deliver that, you're going to explain a little bit about your process. So first, you do your analysis, which include meeting with people, document analysis, all the different techniques that you know. Then you communicate that with your technical team. You get alignment between the business and the technical team. Once that's aligned, that's agreed upon, then you go and you write your documentation, whether it's a user story or a BRD, and you deliver those so that the team can have it to work from. That is the essence of your role as a BA. And that's what you say. See how short that answer was? Now they can ask you, so tell me exactly how do you elicit requirements? So tell me exactly how you communicate with the technical team. And tell me what kind of problems you have when you try to get alignment. How do you make sure that they've agreed to what you're going to build? And then you can answer in those smaller sections as they give you follow-up questions. But if you start telling them all about the project and what the project does and all that stuff, you will lose them.
Understood. Thank you so much. I know how now I understood how to make it a bit organized way of answering this question.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Karaleise.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to read a comment from Honest. So I don't trust anyone. This is for Abigail. People lie a lot. That's true. Employers lie and interviewers lie. I left my permanent job, full-time job, for a provincial job. They offered me a temporary assignment, even though that was advertised as full-time. The recruiter said, you are the top candidate and we want to offer you the job. You can start now as a temp and we'll change it as full-time permanent within 3 months. Or you can wait for the 3 months and we will still offer you the job. I accepted the offer to start ASAP. Well, it's over 8 months now. So I guess it's a good story, right? So you left your full-time job, you started a temporary job, you ended up being there. It was supposed to be 3 months and now you're there for 8 months. So it keeps going. That's the gist of it, right, Honest?
No, it's not. It's not a good story.
It's a bad story? I read it wrong?
I was offered full time after 3 months because the BA, so it's government job. So the BA that left, she needed to receive a permanent offer from the other ministry. So the director told me on the phone that, within 3 months, she would get back and we're going to give you your permanent letter, your offer letter. Or you can just start now with the temporary assignment and we're just going to switch it in March. Well, it's over 8 months now and my offer was actually extended to next year. And that was not the plan.
Oh, so you thought you'd get the full-time offer when you get the contract job and they haven't given you the full-time offer. Oh, I got you. It's the opposite. All right. Yeah, well, hopefully, you're still there. They're still... So part of the thing with the contract job is that they have to evaluate you to make sure you're doing the job and then they can see what kind of person you are. So sometimes it's a good way to get in permanently. They start you off with contract and then they convert you to full-time. So that's also very common. So we'll just hope and cross our fingers that happens for you soon.
I passed the probational period, so I'm just fingers crossed. We'll see. I'm just advising Abigail not to trust anything that is not written.
Yeah, you have to have this stuff written in. Yeah, you need to have the written documentation to confirm that they said they're going to do that. All right. Somebody says on the live, so if that's the case, then for our first job, should we aim for the full-time? Yeah, if you can get a full-time job to start with, yeah. Why? That's better. Full-time job come with benefits. It come with healthcare. It come with all these other things. You get your holidays and all that stuff. So yeah, full-time is more preferable than a contract. I'm just saying, don't, avoid the contract. If you need a job, you can get started with a contract. And like in Honest case, you can start with a contract and then become full-time. But if you can get straight into full-time, that's fine. All right. Somebody says, you're a good Karaleise. It just flows naturally. Because I've been doing this for a long time. Don't compare yourself with me yet. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been talking about BA stuff for a long time. I've been interviewing for a long time. I've done interviews and been the interviewee, interviewer, and interviewee. And I've worked on many projects, so it kind of flows out. But you guys can also have that fluidity if you, practice, watch the videos, do the case studies. It'll start coming out of you similarly in a few. Yeah, you can get there. All right, so let's pivot to people who, but before I pivot, is there any other burning question about people who are trying to get a job that I can answer? Oh, somebody says, if we aren't getting hits on BA, what other adjacent job titles should we apply for? So you can apply for product owner, because sometimes the product owner role is similar to the BA role. Sometimes it's called product analyst. because the employers don't always know what to call the role. They just sometimes they create names, right? So product analyst, product owner, business analyst, um, you could sometimes even be scrum master, but you're really doing BA slash scrum master, like somebody said. So just look at what the job responsibilities are for you to be able to confirm if it's really a BA job or not. And sometimes the opposite is also true, where they call it a BA, but it's nothing to do with BA. So I've seen jobs that say business analyst, and it's all about reporting, data analytics, business intelligence, and a number of different things. Sometimes it's just like administrative, like you're not even working on projects. So you have to really read the job description, because the employers and the people in the work world, sometimes they don't know what a BA is. Remember, this career is not that old, right? It kind of got created over the last maybe 20 years or so and become more popular. So you have to give them some grace. They don't know what to call it. So you have to really look at the job description to confirm what it is. All right. We have two people on the call who have their hands up. I think Nyanyak Dwarf had their hand up first. I'll go to you. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question is more so on the search. I found one of my friends sent me this website called Loop CV. It's like an AI service that kind of applies for you. I just wanted to know if you used one of those in the past, and what are your thoughts about, manually applying for jobs, because it is time consuming, it's tedious to have to go through and tailor your resume to the specific role. It's like, you have 1 hour. If you're doing that for every application, it's like, how many applications are you going to submit for, rather than using like an easy apply button on LinkedIn, or maybe like this website I just talked about, Loop CV, that does it for you manually or does it for you automatically.
All right, so put that link in the chat, because maybe some people want to check it out. So I have not used that. I've not used any AI tools so far to apply for jobs, but also I've not been applying for jobs. So there's that. But the thing about using tools, if the tools can help you, use it. I mean, if you can get your resume done by ChatGPT and it makes sense, then do that. The only thing I would say is that sometimes it's too generic, and like this in the case of creating the resume, not applying, right? So for the creation of the resume, sometimes they give you good points, but it might be a little bit just too generic and not specific enough to the BA, like all of the specific things that we do. So you may just have to give it another pass and clean it up a little bit, but the chat GPT can help you to get started. So that's one. The second one is applying. So yes, if you have a tool that does some heuristics and helps your resume to be tailored for the job you're applying for, fine. The only thing is I don't know how this tool works, and I don't know what exactly is it changing on your resume to make it fit this job. I don't know. So that will be something to see. I'll be curious to find out how does it make your resume fit that job, because if it starts to say things that's not defendable, then that becomes problematic. I always advise people in my consults that you don't have to tailor the resume to every single job that you apply. As you said, it's time consuming. Who have time to go, if you're apply? I encourage you to do volume. So volume and quality resume, and the volume to keep up with it. If you're, I'm going to turn this down a bit. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. If you're applying to individual jobs, and every single job you got to change the resume, you'll spend your whole day doing that. I don't think you have that time. So the good thing is that the BA role is kind of the same, like I was saying earlier in the call. It's like the skills are the skills, regardless of what the industry is, regardless of what the actual job is. So they want you to be able to write requirements. They want you to write user stories. They want you to work in agile. They want you to liaison with the team. They want you to have good communication, technical team, and knowing when to formulate recommendations for problems. They want you to do process flow. So that's the gist of the job. So in your job, in your resume, if you can touch on those points in your work experience and in your professional summary, then you're gonna kind of meet all of the BA jobs you're applying to. So you don't have to be tailoring it. You don't have to specifically put the name of the company. I mean, that would be great. If you see a job that you're like, man, I really can get this job, this is a job for me, fine, go ahead and tailor the resume for that particular job. But not every single job needs to be that tailored. You can just go sit, quick apply, easy apply, or whatever tool you're using, and apply using the same resume, as long as that resume is tailored towards business analysis. So in the case of Abby, if you're applying for a job that's Scrum, you wouldn't use your BA resume, right? You'd have to use the resume that you've tailored for Scrum and the resume you've tailored for project management. But if it's within the BA realm, use the same resume. Just make sure the things on it are speaking to you as a BA and what are the things that a company will be looking for a BA to do, right? That way you don't have to be tailoring it. All right, thank you. I hope that helped you, Nyang Yak. I think Margot was next. Go ahead, Margot.
Yes, okay. But I've been having this issue, and I'm not really sure what's going on with it. So I have BA experience, but in the technical role, I'm probably at 1.5 years, almost 2 years experience, and I got laid off due to a lack of work. And so I've been interviewing to find another job, and this has happened to me a few times, and I'm not really sure what's going on. So I will go into my interview, and I will pass the first round, second round. I even got to 4 interviews within a company. They were all within an hour, sometimes 2 hours long, and then I received a rejection letter after 4 interviews. And this has happened to me 2 or 3 times, and I'm not really sure what I'm doing wrong. I would call and I would email and ask, could I have follow-up or guidance or anything, and I don't get a response. In that situation, which I know is very broad, what would you do, or what would you suggest that I do to move forward? I have no idea what I'm doing wrong.
Okay, I just started the recording. I realized I wasn't recording. So thank you, seasoned analyst, for reminding me of that. So if you get into the interview, your problem is that you get into the interview and you're not getting like the follow-ups. Is that the gist of what you're saying, or did I get it?
I'm progressing through the interview, but I'm not landing an offer. Like, I'm getting to the 3rd round, the technical interview, the case study, and I'm passing it because I'm looking to move forward, but I'm not receiving an offer. I'm receiving a rejection letter at the end, and I'm not really sure what I'm doing because I progressed so far into it.
I think that's one of the most painful parts of applying for jobs. It's some of the most painful parts where you have done the most that's within your control. Like, you've done a good interview, they've moved you along, you've gotten to like 3-4 stages of the interview process, and at the very, very end, they didn't choose you. So I think it's a good sign in a way, because you're getting the calls, which some people don't even get the calls. You're getting the first interview, some people don't even get the first one. You're getting the second and maybe even the third. You're doing the case study, which is like the final. So it means that it came down to you and probably one other person. Yeah. And they choose another person. Sometimes the reason they choose the other person, it may not have anything to do with you. It could be that there's just somebody who is in the company that they chose to go with, somebody internally. It could be, I don't know. We can't self-analyze and say, what did I do wrong in this case? In my opinion, you've not done anything wrong. It could be just something that they're looking for. It could be that the other person just have 1 more year of experience doing something that you don't have. You don't know what the competition is doing. You just have to go out there, put your best foot forward. And I don't want you to be discouraged because you're getting so far, but you're not just nailing it. I don't want you to be too discouraged about that, because your job is out there and you just have to keep the energy and keep applying so you can do that. I do have a consult if you want to go through, just to make sure that you're saying the right things and hopefully being able to land the next job. You can think about doing that consult. But in general, I think the fact that you're moving forward is a very good sign that you have the skills, you're saying the right things, they feel some kind of confidence in you as you go through, and not sure why they're not giving you the offer.
Can I ask an additional follow-up to that, to your answer?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm asking your opinion, because my first BA role, it was actually probably more advanced than where I was, because it was my first BA assignment, and I ended up landing a senior contracting position, a senior contractor position, defense. And so I was there, like I said, I was there for 1.5 years, 2 years. I got great feedback, great replies. Every assignment was new. I watched a lot of your videos to know what to put in them, but I did well. So in your experience, or from your perspective, do you think that I should apply for junior BA roles, or should I still try to apply for the senior BA role?
No, you're not junior. You're not junior, and you're not going to find junior BA, because the problem is the BA role is not really an entry level. I have somebody here asking about what do you think should be the focus area for entry level BA? It's not an entry level job, unfortunately. You are literally starting out at management level. You may not be managing people, but you're managing tasks, you're managing yourself, you're managing the projects, and you're deliverable on that project. They can't have a BA that they have to hold your hand, really. You can come in, they'll do some onboarding, they may have you understudy another BA just to get your feet wet, but you have to take your wings and fly. It's not a job that you're given steps and you have to follow these steps to make it correct. It's not, it's an analytical job. So you start off middle management. That's why the salary is higher, because you have to make decisions on the fly. So in your case, you've already had 1 year. You're not a entry level no more. You're not an entry level. As a matter of fact, you could get into a senior BA role too. But I would say start a BA just to be comfortable, and then you get into senior level. Don't try to go downward. You've already passed that basic step already. You've already had your first BA job. You're ready to go. All right. Let's not be desperate and say, okay, let me get something a little below my qualification because I want to get a job. I know the urgency and the feeling of need to get this money right now, right? But I want to encourage you that you are at the level that you can get a regular BA job or a senior BA job, and you just need to keep going because you've already shown that you have what it takes to get to that level. All right.
Thank you, Dr. T.
All right. Regina, and then Obiora.
Hi, Karaleise.
Hi.
So I just want to encourage someone here, and I watched your videos, I think way back in 21. Within a month, I got a job, and I have shipped like my 6th project so far. And what I want to say, like you were saying, there is no junior BA. As soon as you get in, you are ready to go. And you might understudy someone, and then after that, within 3 months, you are actually a senior BA. But what I wanted to hear from other BAs, people who are in the BA jobs, is the management of tasks, and I would want to call it the babysitting of the technical team, especially engineers. And I also work with vendors because the development is done by vendors. And the management of my own engineers and the engineers of the vendors and all the politics that comes with it. And so I wanted to hear that from other BAs. How do they handle that and chasing after answers from the engineers?
All right, I'll open the floor to anybody who's working in the field who want to jump in and help her answer that one.
Okay, hi, Karaleise, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Obiora.
Good, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me start with what Regina, well, I've been in the e-commerce domain for close to 4 years now. I work in the DC area, nonprofit e-commerce domain. Starting with let me start with Regina if I get to Michael and others, and then get back to what you said earlier on, Karaleise. So for my company, a lot of developers are outsourced, right? And they are an integral part of the team, right? It is my job, right, to make sure in terms of requirements, facilitation, just to make sure they're meeting their deadlines, they belong to our team, right? In as much as they're outsourced. So essentially they work for my company, right? So I don't see, for me, there's no politics, whatever we ask them to do, that's what they do, right? For the company. So, and then coming to what Margot said, Margot, for the fact that you are even, because I've gone into the part where I do interview BAs and QAs, right? And that kind of takes me back to what Karaleise, the point you've been making all this while. People ask, when you're looking for a job, for a BA job, the skills are basically transferable across domains. It's the same thing, elicitation, requirement, facilitation, communication, right? It's basically the same. So it lies on you to be able to defend, whatever domain you're trying to get into, right? So, and there lies the challenge. You will get questions, essentially most of because when I say interview for BAs and QAs in my area, what do we do? First of all, once you get through the first hurdle, which is the HR, and that's basically the questions that they ask you as gatekeepers are what essentially will feed them to ask you. So once you get through that, and then you come sit with me and the project manager, right? So what we're trying to do is, do you have these transferable skills? What we're looking for. Once we're able to put you through that ring, and you're coming into a new place. You have no experience in this domain, right? And that's what Karaleise was saying, that if you're going into a domain claiming that, hey, I've worked there before, now I'm now asking you a question based on that domain, technical question based on that domain. But if you're coming just as a BA with transferable skills, what I'm trying to find from you is, how can you apply those same old skills, right, to this domain? But if you're coming in and say, hey, I've worked in, I know this e-commerce platform, you might not know, I might feel your line at some point. Now, I now begin to grade you based on what you're telling me that you already know this. But if you come in, hey, I have these skills, I've been a BA, I've worked across the domain. Okay, fine. How do you apply those skills to my domain? Yeah. Right? Once you're able to get that, then that's okay by me. That gives you a chance, right? So, and secondly, there's a couple of factors from my experience interviewing that really, at the end of the day, you might have scaled the first, second, third, For me, one thing is very key to us, team, right? I'm asking you questions. How are you able to fit in my team? I'm looking at that body language. I'm looking at your responses. I'm looking at what you're saying. It's also important to me, because if you don't have that people skills, because BA is all about people skill, right? You need that people skill. You must have to be an outgoing person. You must have to be able to, otherwise you're not able to talk to senior managers, you're not able to talk to vendors, you're not able to talk to anybody. So that is very key to me. And as I'm interviewing you, I'm looking for that. So you might have answered all the technical questions, but if I don't see that people skill in you, you might not get that final.
And that I want to iterate, put a punctuation point on that. It's very important, because I've done consultations with people who are so knowledgeable, like they know the stuff. Like when you're talking to them, they know it, but they don't present well in the interview. Like if I can't see you talking to my clients, then I'll be like, you're good, but I can't trust you to leave in a room with my clients, because I don't know if you're going to bring that image of the company across to them. So it's important to have that confidence that when you step in that interview, you are a BA. Yes. Yeah, you are a BA. You're sitting center camera like me. You're looking straight at the camera, looking at them, and you're answering the question, and you have a presence. So they don't see you shrinking away and like kind of soft voice, like you're not sure. All of these things come into play when you're doing the interview.
Right? Yeah. So, Michael, there's a couple of factors, but that is one. Once I don't see that confidence, even if it's not face-to-face interview, once I don't see that confidence, right, ooze out through that Zoom or whatever means I'm talking to you, you know what I'm talking about.
But I think Margot has a lot of confidence. You hear her voice? I don't see her on camera, but you hear her voice.
For the benefit of others.
I know.
And at the end of the day, also, it might just be down to between you and one other person.
Just might be one other person. They'll be like, for whatever reason, they choose the other person. So yeah. All right, we have a short time. We got to jump to other people. Let's see who else. I think Kimberly. Go ahead, Kim. I haven't seen you in a while, Kimberly. Welcome back.
Nice to be here. I'm so happy to listen in, and fantastic group. Yeah. I actually wanted to get back at Regina. I believe it was you who had asked a question about managing tasks across teams and, just development teams that reports directly to you or who may not. I have that same experience. All of my development team, they're pretty much offshore. We have a few select folks, more like application architect and a lead developer who's on site, with just a handful of developers who are here. And the relationship is the developers who are here in the US, they actually peer and coordinate with those who are overseas. So to answer your question, what I do, and just putting it out there may or may not work for you, is I find the people who have influence. There are tasks that are critical that I need to make sure gets done. I find out from the teams who are critical, who have the decision-making power, who have the influence, and I work with them directly. And it's not just about the professional relationship. It is also about building a relationship with that person where you're building trust. You're building those expectations where it's a mutual understanding. Relationship development is very important. And I would also say knowing the people who can actually make those decisions and move things forward. Right. That's what I have to say in short.
Very, very good. Very good. Awesome. All right. Honest, I'll give you like a minute or less than a minute, half a minute.
All right. Thank you. I wanted to also add to what the last person said. For my team, I've experienced the same thing, and I would say don't pick sides. That's what I try not to do. I don't want to be in the middle. So try not to be in the middle. If you can also try to throw in some team building activities. So the last time what I did was to engage the entire team to create an avatar of themselves. And that was something fun. They all enjoyed it. So just look for something that would encourage the entire team to talk to each other. And if you're new, just try to get to know one or two persons. You cannot be everybody's friend. So if you're close to the lead developers, it's going to deal with the rest of the developers. Like for my team, it's not really like an agile, 100% agile team where everybody is considered as developers. No. So with the government, it's more of like a kind of hybrid. So if you have that kind of setting, you want to maybe befriend one of the leads or some of the leads, and that would help you. That's what I wanted to add. I'll give you back
Awesome.
the time.
Awesome. And I thought these are all very good suggestions. I think we can all blend them together. I also work with teams in multiple different places. Right now I have a team in Canada, I have in the US, I have in Vietnam, and I have Poland. So I have a lot of different places, and some people speak English very well, some people kind of struggle with it. But I would say when you have, like you mentioned, having, that babysitting the technical team, you mentioned the politics. Remember that you're a BA, right? And I hope that you have a product manager or project manager that can take some of that off of you. You need to focus on the requirements, and you also need to focus on making sure they understand what to build. You really don't want to be distracted with managing like resources and all of these other things, because that's really a project management task. And you want to know where to stop, so you don't try to do everything. It's a natural progression for us as we work on these teams to try to help with all the different stuff. We're pulling all these different meetings, but you have to make sure that your thing that you're focused on is done, because nobody can help you with your job, but you can help the project managers with theirs, right? And they tend to lean on you for that, but you have to make sure that your thing is being done. One of the things I do to make sure that my team, first of all, the team is great, and I don't have anybody who I would say, like typically people want to do a good job. It's very normal that people who get employed for working on these big projects, they want to do a good job. But sometimes you have to help to focus them on what they need to focus on, right? What's in the next sprint? What are the stories they need to have? What refinements we need? And you're running some of that. So I would say communication is great. And like Kimberly was saying, being able to have a good relationship with them. Like when I do my sprint planning, like on a Monday, let's say today wasn't a holiday, they come back, I'm like, hey guys, what do y'all do for the weekend? How was that? Try to build a little bit of relationship with them so that they can be comfortable and they can, point out issues to you and you can get resolutions for them. Like we had a developer who took off Friday, maybe a week ago. He said he was going to go whale watching. When he came back a week later, I was like, how was the whale watching? Did you see any whales? Like, he didn't even think I would remember that. But I do, because I'm building relationship with him. I'm making sure that he knows that I care about him as well as a coworker, but in his, what he's doing also. So that when I say to him, hey, I have a situation where I need you to work on this particular user story first, then the other ones, he'll probably drop what he's doing and do this one because, we have that relationship. So building relationship is very important. Making sure that you communicate effectively and you give people time so they can have time to think about stuff. Nobody wants to be working and it's like rush, rush, rush. You got to jump and do this and do that. People need time to think, especially the technical team. They have to think about the best way to deliver something, the how to deliver it. So making sure that you have those refinement sessions set up. So you're meeting with them, you're walking through all the user stories, you're walking through all the requirements. You give them time to think about it. You have another session just to reiterate, to get estimates, so that now they can say, well, last time I talked about it, I thought this was the best option. But now that I've thought about it some more, I think we should do this instead. Now you have time to pivot. Now you have time to discuss, as opposed to everything is rush, 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 and they don't have time to think. So having timely meetings, having recurring meetings, having the communication, and doing a retrospective. Because if you're in Agile and you're running through and there's problems in the team, outside of just the work, but there's problem with the communication, there's problem with the timeline, and nobody has the space to talk about that, then you just continue with the same problem for the next couple sprints. So pausing, having a retrospective, figuring out what you did right, what you didn't do right, what you need to start doing, stop doing, recalibrating the team, and going forward with the option of being successful or the ability to be more successful because you've identified the problems, it's also a good way to do that. So between that and all the other advice you've gotten, hopefully you'll find something useful out of it and be able to apply it. Now we are out of time, but before we go, I wanted to talk real quick about the idea board. But before the idea board, you guys may have noticed that I put on my socials that I have a new membership program coming up, and I wanted to introduce you guys to that. So I will be having, in the next week or so, I'll be launching a business analyst membership program. It's going to be something similar like this, where we'll meet together, we'll talk about different issues that we're facing within the career. You'll have a chance to have chat, so you can talk with each other. You'll have a chance to have these Scrum events, but the Scrum events will be focused on working on case studies, working on interviews. You guys can join different squads for different things that you're interested in. So let's say Margaret is interested in interviews, so we'll have an interview squad. Somebody's interested in managing their agile team, we'll have agile team squad, so that we can work together in these different squads and help each other. There'll be documents that we'll share. I have a ton of documentation that you can copy from, ton of templates that will be there. There's also, it'll be different tiers, but some tiers will have access to Jira. So we'll have Jira, where you can go in and see user stories, see bugs, see how we work in the real world. We'll also have Confluence, where you have documentation. You can see how documentation is written in Confluence, and these are from real world projects. And you'll also have online courses, where you can take the courses, and depending on the tier that you opt into, then you can have all the courses, and we'll add a new course every month. So there's lots of stuff that's going to be coming to help you guys to excel in the career and to provide support and community, so we can help each other, and we can have a place where you can be safe as a BA to come in and ask questions. Maybe you don't want to ask your coworkers, maybe you don't want to expose that you don't have as much experience, but you can find this community to help you, to support you, so you can be bolder in your interview. You can be bolder and more confident, because now you've seen what it should look like, you have somebody to ask, and we can support each other that way. So look out for that. It's coming in the next couple weeks. I will have a special promotion as well for certain individuals. So look out for that. And I'm looking forward to having a great community that we're going to start and we're going to build with each other. So just wanted to put that out there. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Yes, more to come on that. It'll be its own website as well. So it won't be on karaleise.com. It'll be its own website. So everything new, everything fresh. We're just working on some testing right now to make sure everything's working properly. And then we'll be able to launch. We're like 95% done. So I'm very excited about that. I have a waiting list of those who want to join, because I have a lot of people who wanted to join. I actually opened up the website for testing for a couple hours, and people are already like signing up. I was like, no, it's not ready yet. So the response has been very, very good. Joshua has put the link in the chat, so feel free to click on that and just add your name to the waiting list. And Joshua, if you can put it in the YouTube live as well, so people on the live can also add their name to that. So that's what's coming up, and I'm very excited about that. All right, so before we end, we do have an idea board. I'm going to share it real quick. For some people who may not be able to speak, they have done that, and then we're going to end, and we're over time. So who have to drop, that's fine. But if you can stay a little bit more, that would be great. Can you guys see my board? For those on the Google Meet, can you see it? Yes? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
So what is going well, what's not going well, and what's blocking you? So what's going well, somebody says, reviewing my CV, how do I transition from nursing to BA? That's not a going well. All right, so I guess the question is, how do you transition from a nursing to BA? It's kind of similar to other careers. Now, nursing does have a lot more physical element to it, like you're really walking the halls and physically helping people, whereas BAs, typically you're at a desk and you're working with computers most of the time. So it does take a little bit more to transition from nursing to BA, but I would say if you're writing reports, right, which you do as a nurse, so that's something that's transferable. If you are talking to patients, so that's kind of like stakeholder, eliciting their requirements, listing what's wrong with them and documenting that, that's a little bit of the BA. You definitely have to do a foundation course so you can get into the lingo, get into what is it that we do, our techniques. And so if you've done a boot camp or you've done some kind of course on Udemy or somewhere, you need to do that so you can get soaked into our world. And of course, if you're here, you've been watching my videos, so you have some more real world exposure by watching my videos. So that's good. And then I would say do some case studies to practice what you've learned. I have a number of case studies on my website for free, and some of them like $15, not too expensive. Go practice those. And if you need more help, you can consider doing a consult with me where I'll walk you through how to do the business analyst interview so you can have more confidence, even if you're coming from nursing. I'll teach you the steps to do the interview and the questions to anticipate how to tell good stories without lying. You don't have to make up a bunch of stories and tell a bunch of lies in the interview. You can use your actual experience and get the job. And I'll teach you how to do that. So that's an option for you when you're ready. All right? Now, hold on, Abiola. I think you're not on mute. You had to put on mute. Okay, I'm connected to the right group of professionals. That's going well. That's great. And then going well again, we have brought up the topic of standardizing process maps for my team. Well, I'm going to put Abiola on mute. Sorry. I had to mute you, Abiola, because I could hear you. All right. So brought up the topic of standardizing process maps for my team. So that's good. So if you are working a team and there is some gap, if you're new, it's very difficult because people don't want to hear new ideas from new people. They're like, you just came here, so like fall in line, you know? So they don't want to hear it. You only have influence over the thing that you're directly responsible for. So if you're a new BA, you have influence over how you write your requirements, you have influence over the documents that you produce, but you may not be able to change how they do things yet because they don't trust you yet. You're new, they don't know you yet. But over time, as you see things that you can improve and their team becomes more and more comfortable with you, yes, go ahead and suggest things. So I like the fact that this person saw that there was a gap in their process mapping and they were able to jump in and suggest that. That's good. All right. Global BA stand-up. What's not going well. Sorry, I was just reading it out loud. What's not going well? So we have somebody saying how to land an actual job with company that supports you. I am new to the BA space from what you just talked about. Does it mean it's better for someone new into the space to apply for full-time jobs to get, let's see, I have to click on this to see the rest of it. To get proper onboarding. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Yes, it's preferably if you can get a full-time job, that's fine. But if you can get a contract, you can start with that too. The other person says, the job board that I'm applying, what tech job sites does everyone use when applying, searching for BA roles via Indeed, etc.? What are you guys out there using? I always just use LinkedIn. I use Indeed, but I find there's a lot of shady stuff going on in Indeed. So I've just stuck to LinkedIn. It's just the number one tool that I use. If anybody has any other place that they go to find jobs, you can put it in the chat. Somebody's asking and wants to find out. Yeah, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the number one place. All right, convert my experiences in Salesforce to BA duties. So this person's asked, I don't know if this is a question of how to convert your experience to BA duties. I don't know. If you have experience in Salesforce, then you can apply for a Salesforce job. If not, then it's just a BA job. So I'm not too sure what this question means. If you're on the call and you want to clarify this, feel free to jump on and explain. All right. Communication with stakeholders to complete documentation. I think this means on time. So what's going well is that they're communicating well with stakeholders. That's good. Congrats. Very good. What's blocking you? People say that they do not feel confident in their knowledge. If that's a blocker, your confidence, it's part of it is the knowledge that you have to gain to be confident, and part of it is practicing so you can be confident, and part of it is just your mental state, right? So the more I do something, the more confident I am that I can do it. So I always say, do the case studies, practice how you do this job if you had the job. And that helps you to build confidence. If you sit and you watch the videos all day and then you leave and say, well, that was good, but I don't know if I could do it that way. It's because you haven't practiced what you've learned. You have to literally take pen and paper and do it, right? Or go on your computer and draw some process flows. Go on your computer, look at the problems that I've given you for free on my website and see, how would I do this? The more you do it, the more confident you are that you can do it. All right, that's the trick. All right, feeling stuck in a BA role, vis-a-vis a need to future-proof my career. I have been exploring business relationship management. That's on transition. I'm not sure what this question means, but if you you want to future proof your role as a BA. The good thing about the BA role is, I'm not saying that we can't be replaced by AI. We probably could, but I feel like it's such an analytical role, and they need you to be able to think on the spot and make decisions that could vary, that I think you might have some more time. You might be a while before you actually get replaced by AI. So I think it's a good thing to stick with the BA role for now, because I think that we have a little bit more future left in us. So yeah. All right. So that's the idea board. That's all that's on there. Just wanted to make sure I clarify that. And I'll stop sharing. I see a few people with their hands up. Emika, go ahead, Emika.
Hi, Karaleise.
Hi.
Good morning. Sorry, this is a little bit out of what you've been saying. I was just going to ask if Obiora is in BC, because I know you mentioned BC.
Is he on here, or did he leave? Is he still here? Oh, he's here.
Maybe he's left.
In Washington, D.C. Check his link.
Okay. Okay, Washington, D.C. Okay, sorry, that I'm saying. Great stand-up, Karaleise.
Yes, so we're at the end of the stand-up, and I'm very happy that you all were able to join. I hope you guys found value in it. And I know there's a few more questions on the live that I didn't get to, but you guys can always send me an email. I'll try to respond to you. But thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to seeing you in the very next stand-up. And also look out for my membership program that's going to be launched soon. So I'm looking forward to you guys to join me there as well. So thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Karaleise.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.